Hello everyone, welcome back to Mr. Nerd, and Spy X Family has undoubtedly been the biggest show this season. Well, the biggest original show this season, not counting sequels, but how was it as an entire whole season, or, well, half a season, because part 2 is coming soon. Most probably, we're just gonna skip one season and it's gonna come next one. And so, let's just first of all go to the ending of the season, because there were some pretty interesting moments in the beginning which I don't usually want to talk about, because they pretty much have to sprinkle them in, and so that the fan base or the viewer is interested into the story. We will get to them anyway, but let's just get to the end. And what the hell was that? You could have at least introduced just Bond into the family, because it would have taken 2 episodes. One more like it, it's probably 2 chapters then, and it would have taken one more episode to just have Bond become part of the family. Bond is, by the way, the white dog that we saw, and this isn't much of a spoiler because pretty sure you could have figured he's gonna be part of the family. So you could have just made one more episode and ended it there and have it okay, Lloyd started his mission with 0 members and he created a family, and this part of the season ends with another member joining up of the family. So they could have ended it there, but they decided to end it off at such a random point. It was really random, I'd say. Yeah, where they ended it off. And come to think of it, if you want to make sequels, you want to make the ending as memorable as possible. And I doubt anyone will actually remember the ending next week. Because I ask you what happened in the ending? Anya got a doll and asked for a dog. That's about it. So compared to the other shows, Kaguya-sama, the ending didn't really do it for me. And honestly, they would have just went to another episode, and it would have been better than what we got. And I guess the idea was start the next part with a new family member joining up, but they should have ended it out there. But anyway, the beginning of this season, and I have made reactions on it. You can go watch them. I wouldn't really recommend them because they're really shitty, but the beginning. Lloyd as a character, we don't really know much about him or his past. I made a video on that, by the way, you can go check it out. And so yeah, he wasn't that interesting of a character. His entire character is his mission, and his goal is to just make a world of peace. Which I don't know why he doesn't become a dictator then. And well, so Lloyd's main goal: make a world of peace and harmony where children don't have to cry. Even if you end the war, that wouldn't happen. But that's his main goal, which is sort of unattainable. Well, but he's an interesting enough character that he can kind of drag the show on until it gets actually good. Then Anya, and I guess we can all universally agree, kids in anime are annoying. Really annoying. And Anya, well, she was annoying at some points, but be it 1 or 2 points. But she was also an interesting enough character. Although I do think in terms of her character, we have just scraped the surface. Is because you kind of have this is a battle shonen. It's a shonen, and you need to drag it out as long as you can. We can explore a lot of things in Anya's past that we want to, and it would give her a lot of character development if the writer wanted to go that deep. But because we didn't get that right now, neither do we get it in the manga till chapter 73, 74, 74. And I doubt that we're gonna get that. If we do, it's probably gonna be at the end of the story, which I don't see anywhere near. And so, Anya, she's gonna stay the same regardless of whatever the hell happens. And there might be small changes in the character, Okay, there are no changes in her character. And she's the same character through and through. But she's a kid, so who the hell cares? It's then Yor. Okay, for Yor, I'm not that pissed because in second part, we're gonna get an entire arc on Yor. And it's like just a Battlefist bloodbath. And you better keep it the Battlefist bloodbath. Because like that is gonna be the most insane part of Spy Family that I ever till it. And of course it's Yor's part. And so Yor is also a pretty big factor in it. And of course Lloyd and Anya are there, but they don't do anything for the most part. And it is an entirety of Yor's arc. And her flashback, well, in her past there isn't anything that interesting to explore or like give her character development on the basis of her past. They can develop her character in meaningful ways at the end of the story when they find out about everything about each other. Yes, but once again, the end is nowhere in sight. And like if you're looking for actual plot now in Spy Family, like okay, I love the family matter, but like what about the story? Non-existent. Like it's gonna be in the end. Like because there are a lot of plot points that you can use to make the ending as memorable and good as possible if you want to use them. But like the ending is nowhere near, so you can just like enjoy the family banter and enjoy like the big arc sprinkled in between them because yeah, like the biggest bombastic parts that are engraved in my memory is gonna be the Yor's arc, that battleship arc. Well, it's not a battleship arc; it's a cruise ship, but it's a war on a ship, so you're gonna love it. And for Lloyd, well, his highlight will be his flashback, which I have made a video on, which is probably gonna be in season number 2. Yeah, it's way far ahead, and if they wanted to, they could end out season 2 second part with it because the continuity in Spy X Family doesn't really matter. Like you can just like introduce that entire arc and put it in the middle, or at the end of season 2. I mean part 2 of season 1, but you can still do that because like the continuity in Spy X Family, when that flashback happens, nothing after it actually happens, and that would actually like hold any meaning to it. We just get a flashback because we had to get a flashback. Like there wasn't any build up to that flashback or any payoff after that flashback. Like it was just a good flashback where we found out a lot of things about Lloyd. And if they want to, they can put it at the end of part 2. If they want to. But like, I would say like they should just put it there because going chapter by chapter in Spy Family, well, it doesn't really matter. Because the plot points are not connected. Like it's not one piece where one arc is perfectly leading into the other one. There's just like, okay, this is one story and start a new one. And you can replace them anywhere you want. And so they can do it if they want to, but I don't think they're gonna. But so those are my thoughts. Like the ending kind of like dragged it down, and it was really good in the beginning. And I can see why like entire fan base got hyped about it. It's like, oh, this is the new big thing. I'll tell you a trick that like works better. Give your shows an average start that will just hook the viewers, and give it as bombastic an ending as possible, which will engrave it in their mind. That works way more. Or I guess it works way more in sequels. That's because there is another show that did the same thing that failed. Like no one talks about it that much, and in the sequel I really want them to do this one because it works. It always works. Want an example? Kaguya. Go see the beginning of the season and the end of the season. You can see a clear difference between like, okay, this is like, it's fine. Holy shit, this is a masterpiece. It's like, this is the reaction. And you get every time Kaguya-sama. And that is like, that's a technique that can be used universally. Like on any character. Like if you have a decent enough story. Plus, like, no one really talked about it, like, nearing the end, no one did. It. So yeah, the next part is probably gonna be focused more on Yor and Lloyd. Mother chod. And there were some like decent or like well, who the hell am I kidding? Decent does not have what you described just well. It was epic. And this was epic, and I did really like it. I got really hyped about it, but still, like, final thoughts. Is it worth watching? If you're looking for a slice of life family banter type of show with action sprinkled in between, definitely go for it. Alright, like, this is definitely worth your time. And you would be missing out on some really good stuff if you skip this one. Not in this season, the next one. Which, come to think of it, doesn't really matter if you do watch this one. Because, like, if you want to start season 2, all you need to do is, like, know the basic premise. So, you can skip it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend you skip it, but you can do it if you want to. I'm out.